Let's now shift our focus to Russia, where Russian President Vladimir Putin has sent out a direct nuclear warning to US President Donald Trump. Russia has formally withdrawn from a treaty that basically prohibited deployment of intermediate-range missiles. And the announcement came from the Russian Foreign Ministry, which said that Moscow no longer considers itself obligated by the limits it had voluntarily followed under the now defunct Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, also known as the INF Treaty. And according to the Russian government, America plans to station intermediate-range missile systems in both Europe and Asia, and that prompted this decision. The ministry's statement emphasized that the conditions which had justified Russia's self-imposed restrictions no longer exist. And the development comes amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Overnight, Russia attacked the railway hub of Lozova in Kharkiv region with 34 Shahed drones. Ukraine claims at least 3 people have died, dozens injured in the Russian attack. While on the ground, the Russian army claims to have seized a new village in Ukraine's central Dnipropetrovsk region. The region is a significant industrial and economic hub, remember, and plays a crucial role in Ukraine's energy production, trade, military capabilities. What's the INF Treaty all about? Signed in 1987 by the United States and then Soviet Union, banned land-based ballistic and cruise missiles with ranges between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. It led to the destruction of over 2,600 missiles, significantly reducing the threat of a nuclear standoff during the Cold War. In the year 2019, the United States officially exited the agreement, and that decision occurred during Trump's first term. At the time, the U.S. government cited alleged Russian violations involving the deployment of the cruise missiles, 9M729 cruise missiles. And while Moscow denied breaching the treaty, this latest shift in Russia's stance comes just days after Trump directed 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to reposition in response to online threats made by Dmitry Medvedev. Medvedev is a former Russian president and now is the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council. And following the announcement from Russia's foreign ministry, Medvedev issued a follow-up statement on social media. He attributed the move to what he described as NATO's anti-Russia stance and warned of additional actions to come. Remember, last week Putin said that the Orishnik missiles officially entered service and will be deployed to Belarus. Belarus shares borders with NATO members Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and the Orishnik missile is capable of carrying nuclear warheads. The development comes as the United States is planning to start periodic deployments of intermediate-range missile systems to Germany beginning in 2026. And that announcement was made last year as part of Washington's broader security arrangement. Broader security realignment, beg your pardon. The broader security realignment. And in response, Russian officials vowed to implement countermeasures, raising the stakes of a growing arms race. The end of the INF Treaty, combined with the ongoing tensions over the Russia-Ukraine war, reportedly sparked concern across Europe about a possible return to Cold War-era arms race. And according to reports in Russian media, the Oreshnik missiles can strike Ramstein Air Base in Germany in as little as 15 minutes. The INF Treaty had also limited Washington's ability to position similar weapons in Asia, and that restriction had strategic implications, particularly in the context of U.S. efforts to deter aggression against Taiwan. Beijing considers the island part of its territory and has publicly stated that it aims to make Taiwan part of China by 2027. Russian Foreign Ministry statement emphasized that the United States and its partners are moving towards missile deployments in both Europe and Asia, making the INF Treaty's prohibitions unsustainable. And this announcement comes just as Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is set for talks with Putin in Moscow this week itself to explore a potential ceasefire in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. And Trump has warned that unless a ceasefire is reached by the end of this week, His administration will impose direct tariffs on Russia and extend secondary sanctions to countries purchasing Russian oil. Shifting focus now to Bangladesh, almost a year after Sheikh Hasina's ouster from the country, the interim government headed by Muhammad Yunus continues to be under scrutiny, and the reasons are far too many. The chief one being elections. Clearing the air on that one, Yunus says Bangladesh will now hold elections in February 2026. A lot has happened as far as Bangladesh's political landscape is concerned since Yunus was sworn in as the chief advisor of the interim government. The regime change in Bangladesh in more ways than one has been a turning point for many in the country, one which is born out of a movement sparked by demands for quota reform, and that fast snowballed into a nationwide protest movement. It also arguably marked one of the bloodiest chapters in Bangladesh's history, with mass agitation spanning almost 5 weeks and leading to the deaths of over 1,000 people, reportedly. And this also marked Hasina's dramatic exit after being in power for 15 long years. Thousands of student activists from various political groups marched through the streets of Dhaka with flags and banners marking the anniversary of the mass protest that toppled the Hasina government. The protesters also chanted slogans for a better Bangladesh, calling for better governance.
On the night of July 21st last year, the authoritarian ruler Sheikh Hasina's administration arrested me from my home, and I had to remain in jail until August 6, 2024. As a result, I couldn't witness and celebrate the events of August 5 last year. Therefore, today I am enjoying that celebration.
In a statement criticizing the current regime, Hasina described the transition of power as a dark moment in the country's history. She also called on citizens to continue their struggle for justice, economic opportunity, education and peace. That's what has been said. On the other hand, in a televised address, Bangladesh's chief advisor Muhammad Yunus vowed to stand against any form of oppression and prioritize the welfare of the people.
On this July Uprising Day, I solemnly remember the nation's brightest sons, the martyrs of July, with deep respect. I pray for the forgiveness of their souls. To those who were injured, maimed, or lost their sight in July, I extend the nation's gratitude and respect.
But what all has really happened in a year, and what has changed? Was Yunus able to deliver on his ambitious promises of improving the fragile security situation and restoring peace and democracy in the country?
Now they are at loggerhead with each other. So maybe we may end up having minimum level of consensus, and that will be, I think, good enough for the moment, because under any circumstances, no plea should be sort of used to delay the election further.
The path ahead for the Yunus government is fraught with challenges, with opposition parties jostling for power, which leaves the interim government with very little time to prove its merit and cement its base for long term. As uncertainty looms, the question still is, will the high-stakes elections due next year change that? For decades, Pakistan has remained confident of American support, not just diplomatically, but militarily. From the years of the Cold War to offering its air bases for US operations in West Asia, Pakistan has long outsourced its strategic autonomy in a way in exchange for superpower backing. And even today, as it grapples with economic turmoil and internal political instability, Pakistan is arming itself for a future war, not with nuclear weapons, but with a fast-growing cache of Chinese-made conventional military hardware. The message is clear. Pakistan is preparing for conventional conflict, not deterrence. And while the US once held near virtual control over Pakistani military infrastructure, it is China now that's filling that space, arming Pakistan with attack helicopters, fighter jets, electronic warfare capabilities. Pakistan has just inducted the Z-10ME, a cutting-edge Chinese attack helicopter, into its military arsenal, a model similar to those used by China to patrol its border with India. An official induction ceremony was held last weekend by the Pakistan Army Aviation Corps, where the helicopters were described as state-of-the-art, all-weather platforms, capable of precision strikes day and night. No details were shared about the number of units, but reports saying the aircraft is equipped with advanced radar and electronic warfare systems, and this marks an upgrade from Pakistan's aging US-made Cobras. In fact, it's also the first ever export deal for the Z-10ME, according to Chinese state-run Global Times. China and Pakistan's growing defense ties have been under the spotlight since their military coordination during the May conflict with India, and that's when Pakistan reportedly used the Chinese J-10C jets. The Z-10s, made by Shanghai Aircraft Industries, are deployed in politically volatile regions like Tibet and the Taiwan Strait. In the year 2018, China sent 3 of them to Pakistan for testing, but they were returned after failing to meet the expectations. And this newer Z-10ME version reportedly improves low-altitude flight and situational awareness. And it is being marketed as a cost-effective combat option. Beijing has made no official comment yet on the deal. Meanwhile, Pakistan announced in June that it would buy even more Chinese weapons, including one of Beijing's most advanced fighter jets. And behind all this is Pakistan's Field Marshal, General Asim Munir. He has been busy at work, meeting Trump's team in Washington just weeks after the brutal terror attack in Pahalgam, and then visiting Beijing in July to hold talks with top Chinese officials, including Zhang Yuxia, the vice chair of China's Central Military Commission. Zhang has promised deeper defense cooperation, calling Pakistan a key link in China's regional defense strategy. And so here's the real question. What exactly is Pakistan arming itself for? This is a country, after all, grappling with skyrocketing inflation, a collapsing rupee, and a fragile democracy. But instead of fixing its own house, it's busy adding jets to its military wish list. Not just that, Pakistan, with an overall debt of over $270 billion US, just last hiked its defense budget by up to 20%. And all of this just weeks after India's Operation Sindoor, where India strikes on Pakistan terror launch pads and later military installations dealt a heavy blow to Pakistan's terror machinery. Yet Pakistan remains undeterred, it seems, undeterred in its obsession with India, undeterred in funding terrorism instead of feeding its own people. But is anyone surprised, really? After all, Pakistan today is a terror sponsor, a Chinese satellite state in a way, and now with US President Donald Trump's patronage, also becoming a pawn. If you have been watching the news lately, you would know this. India is standing firm against Donald Trump's sudden tilt towards terror sponsor Pakistan, a move that looks increasingly like an attempt to weaponize Pakistan against India, punishing India unfairly for the West's failure to stop the Russia-Ukraine war, as Trump mixes trade, terrorism, and geopolitics in a way that benefits him. But while India stands firm against this blatant pressure, Pakistan is doing what it has always done best, arming itself for the next war with India, even as its own economy and politics teeter on collapse. And it's not doing it alone, it's doing it with the help of China. And Donald Trump? He seems determined to do what he pleases. Trump might just be the last remaining glue between Washington and Islamabad. Young or old, cardiovascular diseases have caught hold of every age group, becoming a major health concern, causing millions of deaths annually. According to data by the World Health Organization, heart diseases lead to an estimated 17.9 million deaths each year, a toll that can easily be reduced if proper measures are taken. Cardiologists say adding exercise to routine and sticking to an anti-inflammatory diet that is high in fiber can do wonders. Though many factors contribute to heart diseases, some of them are preventable if one adjusts certain lifestyle factors. The key to keep heart ailments at bay? Get moving. Moderate exercise like brisk walking, cycling can go a long way. Also, know your numbers. Keep a track of cholesterol levels. Get a time-to-time check of vitamin levels as well as your BMI. And importantly, eat clean. Include vibrant greens in your diet along with nuts and seeds. High blood pressure or hypertension is one of the leading causes of chronic illnesses, including heart disease, stroke the world over. In fact, cardiologists are convinced most cases of heart diseases are preventable. They say lifestyle changes can help manage and even reverse them.